welcome to From Shambles to Shambhala on the last day of June. Tomorrow is July 1st, Canada Day, and on Thursday we have the July 4th celebrations in America. Sister countries, Canada and America. It's a very, very significant week this week, and I'll explain why as we go through this process. And what we're doing is going back to June 20th when we had the summer solstice, immediately followed by full moon in Capricorn the very next day at 1 degree. And when we have a full moon at 1 degree, it means that 28 days later we have the next full moon, which therefore will be at 29 degrees Capricorn. So we have two full moons in the same sign, which is a blue moon, and it's both of them in Capricorn. And why this is very significant is that right in the center of those two the two moons, the full moons and the blue moon, on July the 5th, we have the new moon in Cancer. And that is happening at 14 degrees of Cancer. And when you have 14 degrees of Cancer, it is when the Sirius, the star system Sirius, and the Sun come into a precise conjunction. So they rise together on the eastern horizon on July 4th, 5th. And so this is a new moon. So this year not only is the Sun there, but the moon is there as well. And there is an esoteric belief that Sirius is our spiritual sun. So when Sirius and the Sun rise together, then it's the connection between spirit and our sun, our physical sun, radiating this profoundly powerful, highly conscious energy down into us here on Earth, anchoring into Mother Earth. Very interestingly, the UK have decided to have their general election on July the 4th. Now, when you look at some of the capital cities in the world, some of these streets are actually aligned to this moment. Imagine the Arc de Triomphe in Paris along the Champs-Élysées, and on this day, when you see the sun rise, it comes up right inside the Arc de Triomphe. Now, you don't see Sirius because the sun blots it out. And it takes some time for Sirius to rise. And that's why this is called the dog days of summer, because Sirius is the dog star. When we get to the 8-8, this year 8, the 888, the Lion's Gate is when Sirius will be observable. So this is a very, very powerful energy taking place throughout the month of July, beginning with the full moon on June 21st and the second full moon on July 21st. So it's going to be really, really interesting what takes place in these Western countries during this month. Because when we get to the end of the month, July 21st, as we move out of Cancer and that full moon at 29 degrees of Capricorn, that full moon is going to come into a conjunction with Pluto in retrograde motion. So this is now reactivating the Pluto return of America as we come into this Pluto-Capricorn conjunction. So it's looking into what has happened over the course of this last few years, what has happened during the course of this month, and are the people of America yet free? Because that's what Pluto's job is to transform the old energies, the old patriarchy, the old hierarchy, the old structures. So it's going to be really interesting what takes place during this time. So what do we do about it? Well, there's another major event or two events taking place at the same time. One of those is Saturn turning retrograde on June 29th in Pisces, 19 degrees. Pisces being the last sign, Saturn was completing a 28-year cycle. And before it leaves Pisces, it's now going to start going backwards for us to retrace our steps in what has taken place over this 28-year period, the Saturn return of this 28 years. And it's about going within very gently, very quietly, very calmly, to look very deeply into what has taken place during this time, to get really clear on setting new intentions on that new moon on July the 5th. And then on Tuesday the 3rd of July, Neptune goes retrograde. Now Neptune is very slow moving, and it's got all the way up to 29 degrees 55 minutes of Pisces, just about to leave, and it's stopped. And now it is coming back. Neptune in Pisces as two extremes. One is our highest spiritual connection, our connection to source at one end, and the illusion or the delusion at the other end. So again, we're being asked to look very deeply into where we have been deceived in our world during this last 28 years, and looking at where we can get real in how we're going to move forward on our journey into the future. So this is about a very deep, inner, reflective journey, very calm and collected, and just allowing everything to flow out in the world around us while we remain very calm and centered within. Then finally, just to mention that on July the 25th every year is the day out of time according to the Jose Arguelles Dreamspell calendar. The day out of time is the day that we have completely free, because that process is based upon the 13 moon cycle of 28 days each, and that comes to 364 days. So to stay in alignment with the Gregorian calendar, they have this day out of time every year on the 25th of July, where you're free to do whatever you want to do. But again, it's a great opportunity to reflect upon the last year. It's like the last day of the year in that calendar. And then on the 26th, we step into the new year, and the theme of that year is the Blue Rhythmic Storm. And what we've been asked to do then is to stay resilient, stay calm and centered as we move through the storm, and be a balancing person for the energies as they are in this storming chaos all around us. But it's also about being conscious catalysts for the shift into this new age. So it's a month full of all sorts of complex energies. And so what we're wanting to do then is to stay calm and balanced at the center and continue to do our spiritual work and herald in the new earth energies to come as we open ourselves up into the new age of Aquarius. So I hope you have a great month, and I wish you well.